Hey, happy Sunday. It's the next day of the great guitar build off, and I was actually out here in my shop doing some work on Keith, and it dawned on me I'm supposed to be doing videos. I'm supposed to be documenting how I do all this, why I do all this, all that other good jazz, and I'm doing work and I'm not recording it, so I figured I better stop what I'm doing and, you know, get to videotaping. I don't know why I said videotape. There is no tape anymore. It's all on storage. But anyhow, yeah, check this out. Let me know what you think. Um, Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm taking a smaller piece of the same walnut I've been using on this. It's got a nice little grain pattern on it, and I'm going to split this piece. And well, here, I'll show you. So as you can see, this is my piece here, and I really like the grain pattern on this. It's very interesting, and obviously I'm going to split it down the middle, and I'm going to book match it, and on the front of the guitar, rather than your, you know, basic everyday standard black plastic pickguard, I'm going to make one out of walnut because it seems that this particular piece is telling me it's going to be maple and walnuts, so that's what we're going to go with. I could go black. I mean, saddles are black, pickups are black, tuning machines are black. So yeah, black's an option, so we'll give this a try. If we like it, great. If not, I do have pickguard material, so I can go that way as well. So anyhow, I'm not going to have the bandsaw going and video this. I'll show you the results when I'm finished in a couple minutes. Well, here's the finished result. So you've got the one piece, and then I split it in half. So when we say book matched, it's been split in half. We could open it up this way, and as you can see, everything lines up because of the way the tree has grown. So we could have this kind of pattern, which is, I think, I'm not sure. Anyhow, if I'm wrong, I'm going to flip them over the other way. There we go. Yeah, so you got that with the cut mark there. Looks like that. Then it would also fit that way. I think I kind of like this way a little bit better, maybe. Not sure. But, yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. Mini pickguard. Not the one that goes all the way around the pickups, but, you know, toward the bottom, like a scratch plate more. And that's where I'm at now. So, I got my pickup route finalized, as you can see. Did a little bit of light sanding on top of the body, just cleaning that up. And just butt jointed these two pieces of walnut that I split, got those together. And to elaborate more on what I was talking about, I'm thinking about putting this guy up here and, you know, have it follow the shape around, just like a mini. And again, sorry, it's hard to do this with just one hand, but here, let me get this guy wet for you, give you a little better idea. So once we get a little oil finish on there, that's how much that bad boy is going to pop. So that's what I'm thinking. Actually, I would, if it was me, I would probably flip it that way around, just because I think it kind of matches the shape of the horn and all that. I think once that's cut out to shape, it would be better. But that's just me. Anyhow, that's what I'm looking at. And I guess just to put it more in context, if we drop that guy on there just to give you some more color reference, that's what that would start looking like with the copper. So, well, what we're looking at here is I have the neck set up. It is perfectly in the pocket. And what I did was, since I had been doing some sanding and messing with the bridge location and stuff like that, I just wanted to make sure that these channel routes were exactly a ½ inch on both sides, which they were originally, but since I took some material off of here, about 25-30 thousandths, I wanted to make sure that cosmetically the top was the same as the bottom. So if you were wondering what the hell this is, these are actually edge binding channels, and I'll show you later what those are all about. So anyhow, normally a Telecaster pocket This depth is 0.650, and I didn't want to go that way. I actually prefer it to be a little bit closer to the body. Warmoth also does this as what they call the 720 mod, and it has to do with extending the fretboard over the edge of the neck onto the body. And there's a couple reasons that happens, but anyhow, I like the depth at 720, so it's my guitar and I made it at 720. So what I've got is this straight edge here that goes all the way across my frets, and yes, I did make sure that my fretboard is level before I did this. So it's going all the way across, and this is simulating if a string were there right now, where would my string height be? And as you can see, it's almost exactly in the center of the hole that will hold the saddles. So they're more than low enough. I'll be able to raise this up. It'll be fine. Down here where the nut is, we're going to actually raise the string about 10 thousandths of an inch. So picture 10 thousandths of an inch higher here that goes all the way down here, and will be probably 30 thousandths higher here. You know, after I finished that last little piece, it dawned on me that some people may not know about different joinery techniques and whatnot, and they might be thinking, how the hell did he do that? What's the deal with that? How did he get those cuts like that to be even all the way around? And the way that works is with a tool called a rabbiting bit. Now at the top here, this is a ball bearing, so this spins freely, and this ball bearing's size is fixed. Now you can't really see it too well on the camera, but this cutter is just slightly bigger than the diameter of the bearing. It's bigger by 40 thousandths of an inch, so that when I put this guy in here, it actually rolls around here, and the cutter removes that 40 thousandths. If I needed it to take off more, the kit that I have here from Amana Tools has additional bearings, different sizes and things like that, so you can do all kinds of widths. And if anybody's interested, this is the exact tool. If I'm not mistaken, I got it off of Amazon. It's not expensive. It's like probably 20 bucks, if that. And I've used it many times. It works great. It's razor sharp. It's really good carbide. And so that's how I do that. I'm sweating profusely because it's Michigan and it's summer, and I'm working in a very small shop with bad ventilation. So hope you're sitting inside with some air conditioning. Well, it's time to start thinking about the wiring. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is take a crazy long drill bit, and this is going to basically go through a huge chunk of the body to allow the front and rear pickups, the wires to go through there, and then they'll all route back to the bottom of the guitar where the control cavity will be. So I'll flip camera views and let you see what's happening there. So here's our body, and like I was saying, I'm going to take this chunk of plywood, which is 3/4 thick, and if you remember, I did the 720 mod, so that is almost exactly the same height. I'm going to cut it out to roughly this shape. I've got some radius gauges that I can actually meet all the radii there, so it'll be a nice perfect fit. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to take that then to my drill press, that I'll be able to put this in and, number one, get the exact center. Not that it needs to be precise, but I want to make sure there's no chance that, you know, in scale, here's how big this is. I mean, it's the size of my hand, and I've got pretty big hands. So I have to go all the way from here all the way through to this side without popping through here. And then, because the controls, oops, let me back up a step. The controls are going to be down in this area, so I need a cut that's then going to go from here back into this area, and then on the back I'll route out a chamber that the wiring will go through. So this drill, even though it's a foot long, there we go, when you look at how much of that is going to actually go in there, that's, you know, there's the end of it right there. It's a big chunk is going to go through, and there's a lot of tendency for the drill to walk off center and all that. So I'm going to make a block that's going to help hold it. I guess the word's going to be parallel. It's going to be parallel and coplanar, so it'll be straight this way and straight this way as well. So that's what I'm working on now. Okay, so as you can see, my block is in. got her all set up. Got my drill set up to do this, and I don't know, I may even be able to do this one-handed. I don't know, we'll see. Probably not a good idea. Yeah, not a good idea. I'll be right back. Okay, so that didn't take long at all, less than a minute. But the idea is using my drill press, which I have a digital indicator, so I can make sure that the drill is 90 degrees left and right, but then also it goes on perpendicular to that 90 degrees to make sure that on both axes I'm good to go. And then also my table is set correctly, so I'm drilling within 1/10 of a degree all the way across. So I've got a known good starting point going in, and I went through all this walnut because I'm going literally right through the middle. And if you look at this part over here where I came out exactly in the middle, right where I wanted to be. So I mean, across 6 inches, I don't think I drifted more than 10/1000ths of an inch by hand. So just figured I'd throw a little tip like that out there in case somebody else is doing something like this and they're wondering, okay, how do I do this? What's the best way? Well, I don't know that it's the best way, but I know that it's a good way, and it's how I do it. Okay, so I drilled through here, and I've gone all the way and I've come out, but now I'm going to actually go into this side, and I'm going to come back about 1.5 inches. And the reason that I do that is, it's just me. Do it however you want. I like to run the ground wire through this pickup cavity, come out here, and I know that I'm in the middle of this walnut, so I can take any little drill that I want, shove it through there, and I can fish that ground wire through it and splay it out. And when I put that on there, I'm guaranteed to have a huge ground contact. And I mean, it's copper, so when you think grounding and electrical and stuff like that, what's going to possibly ground it better than copper? Don't say gold. I couldn't afford to buy this thing if it was solid gold or anything like that. So what I've done here is set my bridge, the actual plates on center, and I've got my yardstick, which, as you can see, at 1/8 of an inch, I'm touching the apex of the saddle. This telly is a little bit different. It's not Fender scale 25.5. It's actually PRS scale 25 inch. So if you look all the way down here, just past the nut, I'm just a smidge past 25. So the reason that is, like I said, it's 25 inches, and this guy has its full length of travel to go longer, which it'll definitely be a little bit longer. It won't be short, that's for sure. And I actually cut the one bolt on the low G. Oh, I gave away another secret possibly. So I should be able to mark this out where it's at position wise, and then as you can see here, I've got the actual bolt holes that I'll mark those in and drill and fill with wood screws, and this guy will be fully positioned. And before I do that, though, I'm actually going to double stick tape it and just make sure, measure, and I'm going to make sure that it intonates properly at this distance. There's no reason it shouldn't, but I'm going to do it just to make certain. Well, as you can see here, I have the string ferrules cut in here. They're, for the most part, pretty damn close. The only thing I struggle with these is the throat on my drill press isn't deep enough to get the body in there. I can make it to about here, but I can't get to there. So there's a couple times I've thought about doing these and actually making like some sort of a scoop, artistically, just so that I could reach these. But yep, I got them in. So here's my ferrules. They go like that just as well. They're black. They'll press in. I'm only going to put them in just about that much for right now to hold the string. And so basically I'm going to assemble everything, run the outside strings, and again, if you notice, there's a little secret going on here. I was thinking about it a little bit. Some people might have questions as to they're looking at this thing and they're like, yeah, you've got the ferrules, the string through holes are there, you've got the bridge mounted. Obviously, the bridge pickup is cut correctly for the unique size of the flatware that I'm using. And so anyhow, I guess I'm kind of rambling, but I'm guessing people might be wondering, well, why the hell haven't you routed out the single coil for the neck position? What's going on with that? Why haven't you done that? It's so easy. It just takes a couple seconds. And there's a very good reason that I haven't done that yet. And the reason is it's a very uniquely spaced pickup, and I'm not entirely certain where it's going to line up. I mean, mathematically, geometrically, it should drop right into place. The bridge pickup was within probably 40 thousandths of an inch on, exactly where it should be. So the neck pickup should be just as good. I don't see any reason that it wouldn't be. But I'm not an expert on this, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to put this whole thing together. Once the two outside strings are in place, then I'll be able to mark out exactly where those strings will be, and I can cut out the route for the single coil to position it so that exactly the pole pieces are where they need to be. So that's why I haven't done it yet. I could have made the cavity bigger and just gave myself like some side-to-side wiggle room, but I decided against that because number one, I just think it's kind of cheap. I mean, why make it too big just so that it makes it a little bit easier for me? I'd rather have a nice tight pocket, and it's exactly where it should be. I think it's going to look cleaner, and I mean, quite frankly, this thing's, like I said, it's a gorgeous piece of rock maple. It's got some beautiful grain, and I just want it to look as nice and clean as possible. So that's the reason that I'm doing it. So you'll see some of that coming up in a bit. So as you can see, straight down, that is laser beam straight, even though the string is maybe a hair off of where it'll actually be once I'm done and cut the nut slot in that. It'll be something about like that, but you get the idea that it's looking pretty good. Okay, so it's pretty late at night. I'm ready to shut this thing down for the night. I did get the majority of stuff done that I wanted to get done. Had a couple setbacks, little things like that. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But Keith is coming along quite well. I'm very impressed. And well, I'll reverse the camera angle and go over a couple of the things that I did and let you guys see. There we go. So as you can see, I've got the strings on. They're at tension. Well, enough to make some sounds anyhow. I just fabricated a little crappy nut out of some walnut just to get the strings up. Obviously the action is way too high, but like I was talking about before, that will help even things out. At the 12th fret right here, I wanted 100,000, somewhere maybe 90 for the gap, and with this set at that height right there, this is I sanded it down. Where'd it go? There it is. I sanded it down to 100 thousandths, and as you can see, it fits right in there. There's just a little bit of play, so that tells me that as soon as I take care of that problem by actually constructing the real nut, my string height is going to be perfect. I'm really digging it. And then two, it's a much flatter radius. Like I said, it's a 12-inch radius rather than 7.5, 9.5 typical Fender stuff. So I got that done. As you can see here, in terms of where the string line up over the pole pieces, it's right dead center. I mean, it's perfect. I absolutely love how well this turned out. So I'll mark out the neck pickup and get that done. So yeah, got that in. It's looking really, really cool. Obviously it's all held together just partially right now. I've only got two of the screws holding that in. That's all that's needed for right now. And like I said, too, the ferrules aren't pressed in. I didn't want to do that. I don't want them in the way while I'm doing the finish work. So next will come edge banding that's going to go around this bad boy. I'll start on that tomorrow and we'll get that done. And